This is the Eastern Idaho Weather Hazard Briefing for Thursday, October the 2nd. Key points to go through is that we're looking for some scattered showers today, mainly across the central mountains. Another cold front will arrive Thursday night into Friday, and with that, we will see higher chances for wetting rains, mainly Friday and then going into the weekend. And we are looking for some high elevation snow to re-enter our region Friday night and through the weekend. So looking at our weather risk outlook, there is some heavy rain possible up around the Stanley area in the vicinity of the Wapiti burn scar. And there is a flash flood watch that is in effect for that area. Otherwise, little to no impacts until basically Sunday and Monday mornings when we have colder air that will be filtering into the region. And we are looking at some potential end of season killing frost and freeze in the forecast. So looking at our satellite image today, generally looking at some scattered showers moving through the region during the overnight hours and into the early morning hours. We do expect that most of East Idaho will clear out this morning and that most of this activity will shift into the central mountains. Current watches and warnings in effect, generally looking at a flash flood watch that's in effect for the Stanley area and portions to the west of there. High temperatures today, generally in the 60s and 70s across most of the region, and humidity values vary from east to west, depending upon where those showers set up. Generally looking at minimum humidity today, generally in the 30s, 20s, and 30s across East Idaho, and 40s and 50s across central Idaho. Peak wind gusts today, generally in around 20 miles per hour, although there could be some slightly stronger gusts up around the Montana border. Chances of precipitation today, like we said, generally looking like they're going to be mainly focused up across the central mountains. However, rainfall amounts today are not going to be too terribly impressive, generally less than 1/10 of an inch. Low temperatures tonight, generally in the 40s across most of the region. And chance of precipitation with this slow moving cold front, best really out across western Idaho and then arcing into the central mountains. There are some decent rainfall amounts in the forecast, but once again, those are really from Galena Summit and Chalice and off to the west. Otherwise, for most of East Idaho, we're going to be pretty dry tonight. High temperatures for tomorrow, generally expected to be right around 70 degrees across most of East Idaho, but because of that slow-moving cold front moving into the region, much of central Idaho will be in the 50s to right around 60 degrees. Humidity values tomorrow, once again, very sharp contrast from east to west with that cold front and those showers moving into the region. Minimum humidity values across eastern Idaho, generally right around 40 to 50%, but as you go into central Idaho, they're in the 60s and higher. And then wind gusts for tomorrow afternoon, generally setting around 20 miles per hour, and be mainly focused out ahead of the cold front across eastern Idaho. Chances of precipitation, once again, mainly focused in the central mountains, but also down across the south hills, south of Twin Falls and Burley, and another area of higher rainfall chances out across Swan Valley and Driggs in that area. Rainfall amounts generally across East Idaho look like they're going to be pretty light, and most of South Idaho as well. But there will be some heavier rains still occurring, especially Friday morning across portions of central Idaho into the mountains. As we go into low temperatures tomorrow night, we are starting to see temperatures cool off as that cold front slowly moves through the region. Low temperatures in the high country, generally in the 30s, but in the valleys, in the Snake Plain Magic Valley, generally looking at lows in the low to mid 40s. Chance of precipitation tonight higher as that cold front moves to the east. So they're higher in the east and not quite as high out in the west across portions of western Idaho and central Idaho. And rainfall amounts for tomorrow night, generally looking at 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch across most areas across central into eastern Idaho. There's about a 10% chance that we could only pick up a few hundredths out of this, and also a 10% chance that we could pick up as much as half an inch out of this rain tomorrow night. So in terms of snowfall, once again, don't get too excited. Tomorrow night there is a little bit of snowfall up across the Central Mountains up on the peaks. As we go into Saturday, temperatures are noticeably colder. You see a lot of 40s and some low 50s in there for highs on Saturday. And then as we look at our humidity values, generally with the cooler temperatures, we have higher humidity values ranging anywhere from the 80s to in eastern Idaho to 50s and 60s across central Idaho. Peak wind gusts, there are some stronger winds down in the Magic Valley area, 25 to 35 mile per hour gusts down that way. Otherwise, most of central and east Idaho, central mountains and eastern Idaho, generally setting right around 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts on Saturday. And chances of precipitation still rather high, especially across eastern Idaho, as that slow moving system starts to pull away from the region. Additional rainfall amounts on Saturday, generally looking at an additional 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch, although we could see some heavier amounts, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 an inch, possible out across the eastern highlands closer to the Wyoming border. Expected snowfall throughout the day on Saturday, once again mainly focused up high above 9,000 feet and generally up above in the central mountains, but some in the Tetons as well. And then as we go into Saturday night, you see the cooler temperatures really starting to work into the region. A lot more 30s to the region, even the Snake Plain and Magic Valley. And chances of precipitation start to tail off a little bit, especially across the central Idaho region. But additional amounts, rainfall amounts, looking at 1/10 to an additional 1/4 of an inch Saturday night in there. And then this is looking at our total rainfall amount that we could see for the whole event. Once again, looking at 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch across portions of the central mountains, and the eastern islands could do pretty well in this as well, as that system kind of stalls out across the area. The big difference is the central mountains probably going to see most of their rainfall tonight into Friday morning, whereas the eastern highlands, that's going to occur basically over a 2-day span, lingering Friday and then through the day Saturday and the Saturday night as well. And then this is looking at our expected snowfall for Saturday night. Once again, we're not looking for a whole lot down the valleys, but yes, the top of those mountains, they'll be picking up a little bit of light snow. So just to summarize, scattered showers today, mainly across the central mountains, and another cold front arrives Thursday night into Friday with high chances for wetting rains Friday into the weekend. And we are keeping an eye on some snow for high elevations Friday night and this weekend. So that concludes this morning's briefing. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. Thank you.